Good evening. It's Monday, the 23rd of January, and it's time for the news on RIK2. The Security Council will be briefed later today on the Geneva-Cyprus issue negotiations and the Conference on Security and Guarantees by the UN Chief Special Advisor Espan Barthaida. The Norwegian diplomat will be informing the members on all developments, but focusing on the results of the Anastasiades Akinci three-day talks in Geneva from the 9th to the 11th of January, and the Conference on Security with the participation of the two communities and the three guarantor powers. A discussion is also expected on the Security Council's role at a future international conference on Cyprus at political level. Meanwhile, the resolution on the renewal of the UN's peacekeeping force is expected to go through on Thursday, while on the same day, President Anastasiades and the Turkish Cypriot leader Mustafa Akinci will hold a new round of intensified negotiations. Meanwhile, President Anastasiades is continuing a flurry of contacts with foreign leaders on the Cyprus issue, held a phone conversation with British Prime Minister Theresa May, focusing on security and guarantees, and the Turkish demand that its citizens enjoy the 4 European Union basic freedoms on Cyprus territory following a settlement. Their communication was also reported as preparatory, in light of the continuation of the Conference on Cyprus at political level, which Britain is a part of, and following technocratic negotiations at Montpelleron, which codified the positions of the two sides on security and the prospects of another conference. According to our London correspondent, it was clarified during the discussion that London understands the need to do away with guarantees and intervention rights in the framework of a settlement. President Anastasiades also stressed to Prime Minister May his outright rejection of the Turkish demand for its citizens to enjoy the 4 freedoms in Cyprus. The same sources say that May agreed this was not possible. In a statement, a Downing Street spokesman said that Theresa May assured President Anastasiades that her government will keep supporting Cyprus settlement efforts in every way possible. The British Prime Minister's spokesman added that the two leaders discussed the latest developments in the ongoing negotiations, as well as the historic, as he noted, opportunity to solve the long-standing conflict. Theresa May called on all sides to display leadership and flexibility, assuring that Britain will continue to do what it can in contributing towards a successful settlement in Cyprus. President Anastasiades travelled to Strasbourg, where tomorrow at noon he will be addressing the plenum of the Parliamentary Assembly of the Council of Europe. Tomorrow morning he will be welcomed at the Pace Building by the President and General Secretary of the Assembly. He will then be addressing the Assembly and responding to questions from parliamentarians. In the afternoon, he will be visiting the European Court of Human Rights for a meeting with the President of the Court and the Cypriot judge at the court, Yorgos Sergidis, also attending. Foreign Minister Ioannis Kassoulidis gave his address this afternoon in the capacity of President of the Ministerial Committee of the Council of Europe. Cyprus heads the committee and the Assembly from November the 22nd last year to May the 19th, 2017. Syria's warring sides today met for talks for the first time in 9 months, with frosty initial exchanges suggesting chances of a significant breakthrough were slim as the country's 6-year-old conflict ground on. They sat opposite each other at a round table in a hotel conference room before a day of negotiations, sponsored by Russia, Turkey and Iran in Kazakhstan's capital, Astana, got underway. Both delegations said the focus was on the country's ceasefire, a fragile precursor to a wider political solution. But Bashar al-Jafari, the head of the delegation representing Syrian President Bashar al-Assad, said negotiators for the rebel forces had been rude and unprofessional, accusing them of defending war crimes committed by the militant group formerly known as the Nusra Front. A rebel source said opposition representatives plan to negotiate with the government side only via intermediaries. U.S. President Donald Trump invited Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to visit Washington in early February during a phone call in which they discussed the importance of strengthening the U.S.-Israeli relationship. In his first call with Netanyahu since taking office on Friday, Trump stressed his unprecedented commitment to Israel's security. The White House said in a statement that the president and the prime minister agreed to continue to closely consult on a range of regional issues, including addressing the threats posed by Iran. Trump also said peace between Israel and the Palestinians could only be negotiated between the two parties, but that the United States would work with Israel to achieve that goal. Relations between Israel and the Obama administration ended on a contentious note when the United States declined to veto a UN Security Council resolution calling for a halt to Israeli settlement building. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has told senior ministers he is lifting restrictions on settlement building in East Jerusalem immediately after the city's municipal government approved permits for the building of hundreds of new homes in the area. "We can build where we want and as much as we want," the statement quoted Netanyahu as saying, adding that he also intended to allow the start of building in the West Bank. Netanyahu said his vision was to enact sovereignty over all the settlements, pointing to his apparent bid at winning greater support from settlers and appealing to a right-wing coalition partner. The Israeli Prime Minister told the ministers of the move at a meeting where they also decided unanimously to postpone discussing a bill proposing the Israeli annexation of the West Bank settlement of Ma'ale Adumim, home to 40,000 Israelis near Jerusalem. Now for the weather forecast. Cloudy periods tomorrow with intermittent rain in the afternoon. Winds will be light to moderate northeasterly to southeasterly force 4 over slight seas. Temperatures will reach 16 Celsius inland and in coastal areas and 6 over the mountains. The depth of snow is 70 centimetres on Mount Olympus and 60 on the Troodos Square. That's all from us here. Join us tomorrow for more news in English. Have a very good evening.